Welcome to the Explainer. All right, today we're going to tackle two words that get thrown around all the time, but are so often mixed up: vision and mission. These are huge for personal growth, for professional growth, you name it.
Vision, mission. Be honest, do you really know the difference? I mean, most of us kind of use them interchangeably, right? But what's fascinating is that the source material we're digging into today says, nope, not at all. They are fundamentally different things.
And, getting this right could actually change everything. This isn't just some boring vocabulary lesson. It's about building a real framework for your life, for clarity, for purpose. Okay, let's dive right into the core distinction.
So to get us started, the source gives us this really powerful metaphor. Think about it like this. Your vision is your destination, and your mission is your destiny. This slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? The vision, that's the destination, the finished picture. It's that feeling, that state of being that gets you excited. It's all about joy and emotion. But the mission, that's your destiny. It's the process. It's about dedication and focus. It's what you exist for to make that vision happen. And to make this super concrete, check out these examples. Let's say you're starving. The vision? Oh, it's that incredible, delicious meal you're picturing in your head. But the mission? That's the actual work of getting up and preparing it. Or think about a new actor. The vision is the big dream, right? Holding that Oscar. Pure joy. The mission, though, that's the daily grind. The auditions, the classes, all the work to actually become a world-class actor.
Okay, so let's talk about the word mission. I mean, we hear it everywhere, especially in the corporate world, right? Our company's mission is. But what if I told you its real meaning, its origin, is way deeper and way more intense than just a buzzword?
Yeah, check this out. The word comes from the Latin missio, which means to be sent. And it was first popularized for Jesuit priests in the 1590s who were literally sent on these life-or-death assignments overseas. So historically, a mission wasn't just a goal, it was a command, something you had to complete no matter what, even if it costs you everything. That's some serious weight for sure.
And that historical weight brings us to a really crucial point. The source puts it bluntly: a person with a mission does not exist for anything else. Whoa, think about that. What it means is that a true mission, it creates these incredibly powerful boundaries.
This intense focus has a name: exclusivity. It's this idea that you're saying, I exist for this and this alone. So it's not just about what you do, it's also about all the things you absolutely refuse to do. And the source actually points to some historical leaders who were masters at this, setting super strict limits on their work.
And this quote right here is a perfect example of what we're talking about. Notice the wording: I was sent only to the lost sheep. This isn't a suggestion or a list of options. It's a crystal clear statement with laser-like focus. It defines exactly what the mission is, and by default, what it is not.
Okay, so right about now, you might be thinking, hang on, is this the same thing as a calling? Great question. And the source material makes a really fascinating but subtle distinction between the two.
It really all comes down to direction. A calling is more of an inward thing. You feel called. You're being pulled towards something. It's a response. A mission, on the other hand, is outward. You're being actively sent to go do something, to fulfill a task.
But here's the thing. Ultimately, the source says they're basically two sides of the same coin. A subtle shift in direction, sure, but they both share that same powerful purpose. They're both pointing you towards a life that matters, just from slightly different starting points.
So, the big question is, which one's more important, vision or mission? Well, the source material is crystal clear about this. It's not an either-or situation. You absolutely need both. Think of them as a package deal. Because look what happens if you only have one. If you only have a mission, that relentless, heads-down work, you're just going to burn out. It becomes a painful struggle with no joy. On the flip side, if you only have a vision, all those lovely ideas, you're just daydreaming. Nothing actually gets done. The magic, the real fulfillment, happens when you bring them together.
The source uses this idea to kind of frame it like this. The mission is the present suffering, the hard work we have to do right now. And the vision, that's the future glory. It's that glorious destination that makes all the difficult stuff, the mission, not just bearable, but totally worthwhile.
All right, so this has all been really interesting, but now we get to the most practical part. How do we take these big ideas and turn them into something we can actually use? A clear, personal statement of purpose.
And you're in luck because the source gives us a really simple but incredibly powerful two-step process to help you define your very own mission. Okay, step 1,
is the formula. You just start with this one simple but really profound sentence. I exist too, and then you fill in the blank. What is that one core thing you're dedicated to? Seriously, don't overthink it. Just write down the very first thing that pops into your head. Okay, got it? Now for step 2, the inversion test. You're going to flip that sentence around. So now it says, I do not exist for anything other than, and then your answer. Read that out loud. How does it feel? If it feels true, if it feels powerful, if it has that sharp edge of exclusivity we talked about, then bam, you've probably found a real mission. It should give you that single point of focus.
So, let's just do a quick recap with the key takeaways here. Vision is the destination. That's your what. Mission is the destination. That's your why and how. A true mission has to be exclusive. It's just as much about what you won't do. And remember, you absolutely need both to avoid burnout on one side and just being a daydreamer on the other. It's the combo that leads to real fulfillment.
And that really leaves us with one final crucial question. What is the one thing you can say, I exist for this and nothing else? Look, according to our source material, the answer isn't going to be easy. But just asking the question and starting that search, that's the first real step on the path to a life of purpose. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.